People are jealous of her money, her losing weight while pregnant, which is not very healthy for the baby. That's probably why she was premature and very small. They didn't escape their abusive parent. Not everybody has abusive parents. So what is that supposed to mean? People seethe with jealousy. Well, first of all, Gypsy Rose has only grossed about $485,000 off of everything she's done. If you haven't seen my video 2 years ago, documenting the Gypsy Rose Blanchard agenda, there have been other creators like Conspiracy, Without a Crystal Ball, Katie Joy Polson, who have put out her own text messages with Gypsy Rose Blanchard showing she only has $7,000 left in her bank account, and that was in 2024. Then there was this that she said in 2025 after she had a successful book come out.
I technically only have like $50 in my account. I'm on a salary pay. So I get so much a month, and I have to pay my bills. I have to, my diapers, wipes, gotta, clothes.
A lot of people don't realize you're not rich.
I wish I had $3 million. So if something is incorrect, I could very well be incorrect.
And if you want to talk about documents, yeah, there's a lot that's been incorrect. But see, here's the thing. When you do over 40 different reality TV series, docu-series, documentaries, interviews, books, ebooks, podcasts, you kind of should be telling the truth. But then to just say not even 2 days ago that she can't remember because she blacked everything out. If you can't remember, then why have you been trying to capitalize and monetize a story for over 10 years? She doesn't remember because a lot of the things she's said has been debunked as lies, inconsistencies. And if she would lie about being SA'd when it was consensual and actually try to get away with lying again on the stand in front of cameras, but she couldn't get away with it because of her deposition was transcribed, because in her own words during the subpoena process for Nick's trial, she had to admit and sign paperwork that it was consensual. She was acutely aware that that would be perjury. If somebody is willing to falsely make allegations against a young autistic man, which is a mental disability, imagine what they would do to try to get away with taking the life of their mom. Because they are the person that is the most responsible party, the person that committed first-degree premeditated homicide. Look at the Missouri statute. I mean, I've been showing you for 2 years. It very clearly says anybody over the age of 18 who knowingly causes the death of another person after deliberation upon the matter. She tried to take her mother's life in the spring of 2011 and again on June 14th of 2011. She doesn't meet Nick on ChristianDatingForFree.com until October of 2012. So explain that. She had attempted to take her mother's life twice, 4.5 years earlier. But while we're here talking about true crime, and some of these people don't even get along or like each other, and that's completely fine, but I have over 7 FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests that I myself have obtained and have paid for, or my community has helped pay for in the last 2 years. Even Trixie Lane has opened up a lot of the audio calls, the entire interrogation with David Blanchard, and has made that public for people. Credit is due where credit is due. The Good Wives Network has put out pieces of her medical records, including 204 pages, a master chart, her micro deletion, 19 pages showing that she has that she was not perfectly healthy. She was not born perfectly healthy, and she didn't have just nothing wrong with her. She was born with strabismus, which has to be corrected surgically or you will go blind. She had microcephaly, sleep apnea, allergies. She had failure to thrive. She was born premature. She was born with low birth weight. She also ended up developing not just asthma, which is why you see her having albuterol breathing treatments all the time in photos, or having sleep studies done because of the hypersalivation. Those are things that can be linked to her chromosome disorder, especially with her teeth and her palate. But like I've showed before, in her own medical records right here, she had dental rehab more than one time. She did not just go to the doctor and have all of her teeth taken out. That is such, how are you going to say that these doctors and dentists did all of this malpractice, but yet they saved and crowned 15 teeth? That doesn't make any sense. I thought they pulled them all out. Then why did they save 15 of them? Right. She had 13 to 14 cavities repaired, 3 teeth extracted. She never went to the dentist and had all of these teeth extracted. That's a lie. That's first and foremost a lie. She had dental rehab multiple different times. She had severe decay. And there could be lots of different issues. Most people are going to live to see the day where they have their natural teeth pulled out and they're going to have to get dentures or partial dentures or crowns or a bridge or even implants if you can afford them. But that's just the reality, because most people with sugar and everything today, you can't avoid it. You cannot avoid any kind of fucked up teeth. Now, drinking strawberry Pediasure and Pepsi out of a bottle will certainly exacerbate decay, especially when you're doing it for 24 years. But again, there was never any Oragel, and she was drooling and they had these glands removed. I even show in her own medical records where they tried for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. They did oral medication. Then they did physical therapy. They tried another oral medication. Then they tried Botox injections in 2 glands, not the hundreds of little ones or the other big ones we have, just 2 big glands to try and help paralyze and soothe those from being hyperactive. And when all of that failed, when those 4 things failed after 2.5 years, they then moved to have surgery. Nowhere did Dee Dee go in there, put Oragel or numbing cream in her mouth and do that. And then she also says at one point that something about iodine, and she had all these iodine tests, yet in her medical records it says she's allergic to iodine. But yes, the Good Wives Network has put out medical records. They even released more medical records. And yes, even though I've been here for a long time before Fancy and did not know who she was, she is credited with releasing that information for the public to be able to see that there's something not quite adding up here. And there's a lot of Freedom of Information Act requests that I have gotten myself. And then, of course, Into the Weeds has also been very gracious the same way I have, and have put out several different links to their Google Drive and for different things, including the emails. All of the emails for several years during the time that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was incarcerated. They've also released other things as well. I also have an entire case file, both of her books and everything. So sure, people have given her a lot of class and a lot of grace, even though she is not deserving of it, nor has she earned that. But not because she deserves it or earned it, but because we are decent enough people to be able to discern the difference. Especially when reading through medical files and documents, that medical documents, files, even legal documents are only as good as the imperfect humans that record and document. And there are mistakes that are made. There are mistakes that have been made in all of the investigative evidence in the FOIAs. There are misprints. There are accidentally times where somebody puts Rod's name as Rob, where they accidentally transcribed something somebody said and got it mixed up. Like when they said that Dee Dee was only 17 when she got pregnant with Gypsy, when they meant that Rod was only 17 when he and Dee Dee got married and she was pregnant with Gypsy. So yeah, you have to take that with a grain of salt, but absolutely jealous? Are you crazy? Have you lost your fucking mind? And I am saying that in the most kindest way possible, of her losing weight. I'm just going to remind people that I am 5'11". Not only have I lost an extreme amount of weight, I have double H breasts. And I have a very, very nice butt. So, you know, I'm just saying. And I got some fabulous, long, really, really long legs. So for anybody to sit there and say that somebody is jealous over Gypsy being 4'11" and losing weight while pregnant to the detriment of her own child's health and safety, being born at not even 6 pounds, like 2 months early, that's not only insane, that is completely inaccurate. What people that have been here for over 2 years, like myself, have been, and I've been following for the case even longer, but for over 2 years I've been making content, care about is truth. The truth.